casual. Hello again, friends. So today we are going to do another recipe, per usual, out of Dessert Person, and it is going to be the Minty lime bars. I'm not going to show you too much. You have to buy the book. Here's the goddess herself. Think lemon bars, but with lime and mint. I mean, that's all you really need to know. So we're gonna start by making the shortbread crust. You need an 8 by 8 inch square pan. And then I'll kind of go over the ingredients a little bit. I pre-measured this time to just make it a little bit easier. But basically what we've got going on here is we have 1 cup or 130 grams of flour, a pinch of salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of mint, 2 tablespoons of lime zest, which took forever to zest, and then 1/4 of a cup of sugar. See, I know what I'm doing. What we're gonna do first is prepare our pan, because as soon as this crust is ready, we gotta get it in there. Oh, and butter, a stick of unsalted butter, chilled. So I have it in the refrigerator chilling so that it's not room temperature, because it's starting to get a little soft. So real quick, what we're gonna start by doing is lining our pan and getting it ready for the crust. Okay, let's do that. We want to line the pan with 2 pieces of foil that cover the base and up the sides of the pan, all the nooks and crannies. I can't imagine you could do this terribly wrong. Butter it. I don't know, just rub butter all over it, I guess. We're all buttered up. Now I have my oven preheating at 350 degrees, and we're gonna make this shortbread now. So I have my sugar here in the bowl. We are going to add, it's hard to see, but it kind of just cracked like, there we go. It kind of cracked like the Sahara Desert because it was frozen and it's not anymore. So we're gonna add the lemon zest to the sugar. And this is 2 tablespoons of lemon zest. I dropped a little bit on the counter. That's okay, my counter's clean. Now we're gonna massage the lime zest into the sugar to really break the zest up and have the sugar get infused with all those oils. This is honestly the part I was looking forward to the most because it sounds amazing. Makes me want to make a foot scrub. Is that weird? And it says to do this until the sugar has the consistency of wet sand. It smells so good. I was chopping that mint up and I had to put some in my water because it just smelled so good. I was like, I need this in my life right now. I want to feel like I'm on a tropical vacation. Okay. Babe, you want to come lick my finger? My tongue is a little numb now from doing that. Okay, wet sand consistency. Okay, I got the butter out so it's nice and chilled. I cut it up into small little bits. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with the exposure. Cut it up into little bits. Now we're gonna add the flour. Never fear if there's lumps. We're gonna work this up anyway. The mint. Oh, and then the salt was with my flour. There's a pinch of salt in there. I just put it in with the flour. And then the baking powder. Okay, so it says toss to combine, so I'm just gonna use a fork. I've never made anything like this before. Sugar, mint, lime zest, and flour. It looks really weird. So now we put the butter in. Not exactly 1-inch cubes, they're kind of like 1-inch rectangles, but whatever, it's the same crap. Okay, toss to coat. I think this is exactly the same as the crumble for the coffee cake. You just start mashing the butter with your fingers and breaking it up until they become like small pieces, and it all kind of comes together into a kind of like a damp sand texture. Once again, we want to really break that butter up. Now, my grandmother, who is the queen of pies, she makes the best pies. She taught me how to make homemade like pie dough and crumble topping and stuff. And she would actually use like a bench scraper to like chop the flour into, or the butter into the flour, my apologies, because it's a little bit faster. And I'm kind of wishing I did that right now because this is taking forever. But that's okay. Let's just take this time to zen out and squish some butter. How often do you do that? Probably not very often at all. I guess what I'm doing is every time I scoop it into my hands, I'm finding those big pieces of butter and I'm squishing them down into smaller pieces of butter over and over again. Oh, this is taking forever. All right, yeah, we're gonna call that done. Looks a little bit funky. Smells really good. So let's plop this into the pan, even it out, and then we're gonna press it into the bottom of the pan, into the corners, up the sides of it, making an even layer. Oh, looks almost like spinach artichoke dip. We're gonna put this in our 350-degree preheated oven for 25 to 30 minutes until it's golden brown across the top. This will be baked again when the filling has been put in, think like a pie, but we definitely want to pre-bake this before putting the filling in so that it really develops a good color and crispiness. So in it goes. I just pulled this sucker out of the oven that is lightly golden, and we're gonna set it aside to cool slightly. And now we're gonna do the curd, or the filling. Curd sounds a little weird in my opinion. Filling, whatever. So I changed this angle up a little bit so you can actually see what I'm doing. So let me know if you like it in the comments below. Maybe we'll stick with it. So I have a medium saucepan, nice and hot, hotter than I expected to, but it took me a while to finagle this. We're gonna add our lemon and lime juice, which I'm just gonna kind of hope that it doesn't scorch it. Can it scorch it? I don't know. It's a little hot. Perfect time for this angle, right? Good thing I didn't pour it all in there. Lemon and lime juice. Let's toss it in. Pinch of salt, which I just kind of shake a little bit in there. A teaspoon of cornstarch. We have 1 cup of sugar for the total filling. We're only using half of it right now. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Okay, we're gonna cook this over medium heat, whisking to dissolve the sugar until it comes to a boil. It's a lot of lemon juice and lime juice. It's mostly lime juice. It's 7 limes and a whole lemon. It's gonna be really good though. Okay, we're coming to a boil here. So we're gonna whisk constantly for 1 minute until it thickens from the cornstarch. Start a time lapse. Go. So it's been a minute. Hasn't exactly thickened yet, but it says thickened slightly. So I think we're gonna just take it off the heat and call that right. I sort of like this angle. So now we're going to whip up. We've got 5 egg yolks and 1 whole egg in here. Into the bowl. One of my yolks prematurely broke. Happens to the best of us. Got our whisk. And the rest of our sugar. So remember, this is 1 whole cup. We used half of it in the lime and lemon juice, other half in here. We're gonna whisk this up for 1 minute until it's pale in color and lightens up slightly. Basically what we're doing here is incorporating air into the yolks with the sugar. As you're whisking, the sugar granules are going to chop up that egg yolk and produce some air bubbles and lighten up the mixture. So we're going to whisk this hot, fruity lime liquid into the eggs. We're going to do something called tempering, I believe is what it's called, where we're going to slowly whisk in some of this hot liquid into the egg yolks so that it doesn't cook the eggs or scramble them, essentially. Slowly raise the heat of the egg yolks until it's gotten warm enough that we can incorporate the then warm egg yolks into the hot liquid, and you don't get scrambled eggs, and you can start the base of your curd or custard or whatever it is you're making. So this is still very hot. I don't know if you can tell, but it's definitely got steam coming from it. So it literally says in the recipe about 1 tablespoon at a time. So we're just gonna do a little bit. And you wanna be whisking the whole time. It's very hard to multitask. Okay, we wanna do this until we've done about half of the citrus mixture. I'm pretty sure we're doing okay because we don't have any chunks. And if we have chunks, that's when we have issues. Okay, so when you've got chunks, you've got issues. Okay, I would say that's half of the mixture. I moved you back a little too soon, but basically I'm just gonna whisk this egg mixture back into the lemon mixture slowly. Okay, back onto the heat. Oops. Did not scramble. That's just foam on the top from all the air we whipped into it. Whisking constantly. Okay, I thought I was done whisking, but I guess I'm not. We're gonna whisk constantly. We're gonna do a slow whisk now, I think. We're going to whisk constantly until the lemon curd turns opaque, coats the back of a spoon, and you can't see the whisk marks, whatever that means. This should be about 3 to 5 minutes and would read 170 degrees on an instant read thermometer. So I got my thermometer ready to go. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on because of all this foam. I mean, if I like scrape, you can kind of see the color underneath it, but that's all foam. It's not like this milky color that it looks on camera. Do you see that? That down there? That's the real color. It looks like I'm drinking a mojito, but it's just cucumber and mint. That's great. I like how she puts a temperature gauge there because sometimes it's hard to tell. I would call that coats the back of a spoon. It's 170 degrees. Ooh, it's a lot higher than it's supposed to be. It's like 193. It's probably okay. 1 piece of butter, whisk it in until it completely disappears. Well, that butter really made the color a lot more opaque instantly. Okay, so I'm going to pour this into the crust. I have my rubber spatula ready. Ooh. We'll level it out here. This little corner here, you can't really tell. The crust goes up a little bit high, but that's okay. Into our 300-degree oven for 30 to 35 minutes until it's set. I'm so excited. Okay, so the 30 minutes just went up. According to the book, we want the edges to be puffed, which they look puffed. you can see over there. And wobbles, but is still set in the center. That looks good to me. So we're gonna pull it out. We've got the lemon bars out. They're cooling on a cloth. As it starts to cool down, we're gonna stick it in the refrigerator, and we have to completely set these until the bottom of the pan is cold to the touch. You do not want to touch these while it is warm. Trust me, you need to wait. Then we're gonna pull it out and cut it up. So I'm gonna give this about 30 minutes to an hour on the cloth just to get cool. I don't want to stick it in my fridge piping hot because I need my refrigerator to stay cold. Then I'll put it in my fridge, let it cool for another hour. That's really all it should probably take, is an hour. And we will reconvene to cut and taste. So as you can see, we have some nice golden brown edges. There's some bubbles along the top. It jiggles slightly, but you can tell it's set. Look at this beautiful thing. Fully set, nice and golden on the edges. I'm a little surprised it didn't turn out green, but I think that just has to do with the world putting food coloring and everything. So like key lime pie and stuff is usually green, but no, it's got 7 limes worth of juice in it. It also has a whole lemon worth of juice in it, but enough jibber jabber. Let's pull it out of the tin foil, nice and gently. Perfect. Wow, that was easy. I have my small offset spatula, or I guess just a small spatula. We're gonna slowly peel away from the edges using this to make sure it doesn't break up a bunch. Give it a little snip. So we're gonna make them squares, not bars, okay? I don't know, it seems kind of soft and gelatinous, almost like I didn't let it set all the way. But it looks like it's set all the way. Oh, that one cut really easy. Okay, so we're gonna do a little light decorating. And by decorating, I mean we're just gonna dust it with some powdered sugar and some lime zest. Let's start with the powdered sugar. So I've got a little powdered sugar in my sieve. It's a little messed up, don't judge me. It's like a little snow flurry of sugar. How much is too much? I don't know, I'd say that's good. Then our lime zest. I don't know, just for taste, so. A lot of it stuck to the bottom, so I'm just gonna, let's try one. So I'm gonna take this little corner piece here. Doesn't that look good? The crust went up nice and high on the side. It's nice and goozy. Almost maybe too much. It's not as set as I expected it to be. Maybe it'll set more overnight, but enough jibber jabber, it's gonna taste good. It still tastes amazing, even though it hasn't set completely. I think a little more time in the fridge and it'll set really nicely. It tastes like summertime. It tastes like key lime pie. Very sour, very puckery. I like it. Very zesty, very sour, but in a good way. I love lemony, soury lime goodness. I love when my mouth puckers and it's sweet at the same time. So I highly recommend making this. It's the end of January. It was like 70 degrees today. I was dreaming of summer, even though I don't really like summer here. I live in Arizona, so my whole life is summer almost. But make these, especially if you're dreaming of a little summer getaway. make these. They're really great. I'm gonna put them in some cupcake liners and put them in a Tupperware and take them to work with me tomorrow. So you're welcome, coworkers. Thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Overall, this took about 2 hours to make, give or take. Took me a little longer because I'm recording and stuff, but it was really fun. It was really yummy, and I really hope you liked watching this. Please leave a like. I don't know, subscribe if you want to watch more cooking. And thanks for hanging out with me. You guys are the best. I hope you have a good night, good day, good weekend, good weekday. Have an amazing whatever, okay? Mwah. I love you. Goodbye.